Welcome. We're going to wait for others to join and then we'll get started shortly. Welcome. We're just waiting for a few more people to join. So um, if you would like, there's the poll that's been posted. If you want to submit your poll response, that'd be great. All right. Well, I know we have a few more people joining us today, but I think we'll just get started for the to be respectful of everybody's time. But first of all, I just want to say welcome. Um, Excuse me. Just a few housekeeping things. Just letting you know that um, everyone has been muted upon entry. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please put it in the QA at the top of your screen. You can access that with the little QA button. And then also at the end of the presentation, we'll address those questions. Okay, today we're going to introduce you to Crestwood's business process review, which really helps our clients leverage the full capabilities of their business central instance. It also provides an actionable go forward plan and a roadmap for success, which can be worked through with our team to help identify and then implement any of those recommendations. Excuse me. My name is Julie Kunka, and I'm a customer success manager here at Crestwood. And joining me today is Dan Milani. Dan Milani is our services director, but he's also a solutions architect by trade. So he brings a wealth of knowledge to our conversation today. So for those of you who have not worked with Crestwood in the past, just wanted to take a few minutes just to provide you a little bit of our background. But over 25 years ago, Crestwood began with a vision to empower businesses through ERP solutions from a small Chicago-based office supporting small and medium-sized businesses. All right. So shortly after Y2K, Crestwood started to look to the future and was a founding member of the BDO Alliance. We added CRM to our practice around that time and continue to grow with our many awards from Microsoft and partner level growth. Excuse me. And then also we added Acumatica to our practice as well. So we have dedicated teams on both sides of the house. Today, Jason Schaefer is our CEO, and he leads us to, really focusing on the legacy from our founders of, again, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold, um, dedicated to empowering businesses with technology and expertise needed for successful digital transformation. Crestwood is more than just an ERP solutions company. We really work with your team, and our team supports them to, whether it be data migration, implementing your solution, something as simple as purchasing your Microsoft licensing. That's all the support that we can provide for your team. Dan will go into a little bit of those services as we talk about the business process review. So Dan, I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Julie. Welcome, everybody. The first thing I want to touch on is what actually is a business process review. These are sessions designed to get at the root of your core processes and not just the process itself, but more what's behind that process. Why is your process happening a certain way? I want to make a key distinction here in that this is not us coming into your organization and showing you how to use Business Central. I don't want to say it's system agnostic, but it kind of is. We're obviously going to have a slant towards Business Central. We're going to ask key questions that are going to identify Business Central solutions. But what we're really looking at doing here is we're going to look at reviewing your current processes and how do you process a sales order? How does an order get generated before it even gets to the system? Are you using EDI to pull in orders? Are your orders coming in over the phone? Are they coming in from a website? That type of thing. And we want to look at these processes and how you're meeting the needs today. So it's really one of the biggest things that I've seen in the past is people are expecting a training. So I want to make it very clear that that's not what this is. You're training us in how you're using the system today. What this does is it helps us identify where can we make improvements for you, and help to start the sketch for the overall plan that we're going to get to at the end. The next thing we're going to want to talk through is from your perspective, where are you struggling? Where is the system holding you back? What are some key processes that just don't work today? And then once we have those two things, we have a pretty clear picture, but we also want to talk about your horizon. What are some new requirements that are coming up? Are you planning on implementing a third-party logistics company or your own warehouse? Or are you expecting high volume growth in sales orders? And then from these, we can take that information back with us and really look at your key requirements, key areas for improvement, and work to create an actionable go forward plan. And then we'll take that, and that'll be a systemic plan of, okay, here's what we can do in the system, but it will also help to collaborate with you on creating an overall roadmap for your success. And Julia, thank you. What are the benefits of a business process review? I think you're already kind of starting to see these as we're talking through these, but one of the key things that business processes reviews do is they identify those processes that nobody really knows why, but they've just been pulled forward from system to system because you've always done it that way. And a lot of times these are very inefficient, and there are ways around them in the system. Some of them, you know what, they're going to be legal requirements or things for data that they just need to continue. But a lot of them, we can eliminate those inefficiencies. The second piece that this does is it identifies known areas of struggle and unearths the pieces behind those areas that are actually causing the struggle. A chief operating officer may know that uh, their their shipping department is only able to ship on average 400 orders a day, but there's the potential based on sales to ship 1,000 orders a day. In going through this business process review, we get down to the detail of that actual shipping department, and we may find that there's a process that is taking an extra 3 minutes that we can eliminate per package and increase your throughput of shipping. We're going to provide guided discussion to get at the root requirement. And again, I keep saying this, but the why behind the requirement, and help mitigate those challenges through system improvements, through potentially a third-party add-on or a customization. And ultimately, we're going to provide expert advice. Through our careers, we've seen a lot of different scenarios. We've seen a lot of different ways that people have gotten around things, and we can leverage that that experience to help provide a better system for you. And then again, at the end of this, we're going to provide a roadmap of solutions to help you implement these changes. Now, in some limited cases, we're going to confirm the path you're on. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. We may look at your system and the way you're doing things and say, you know what, you're on the right path. It's very rare that it's 100% that way. Sometimes it's small tweaks, but that confirmation also has benefit as well. I'm going to talk about the triggers for a business process review now. There is no hard and fast trigger. Typically, people go by either timeline or event based. From a timeline standpoint, you'll see this is a very wide basis. 6 to 18 months after you initially go live with a system, somewhere in there is a good time to do a business process review. When in there really depends on how engaged are your users, how much have they adopted the system. If you have low user engagement and adoption, you might be closer to that 6-month timeline because you want to see, okay, why aren't my users using the system? What can we do to make it easier? If you're seeing good adoption, it might be towards the end of that. There could also be things, in a lot of go lives, there's already plans for an additional phase even before you go live. There's also sometimes items that, you know what, we really wanted this when we started this project, but there either a solution wasn't available or the timing didn't work, so they were put on a back burner. So it's a good time to go back and look at those items. After your initial go live and you've settled in, typically we'll see every 3 to 5 years. And again, that's going to depend. It's going to depend on how much have your business processes changed, how much has your sales level changed, what additional needs have come up. And then we have our event-based changes. These would be a key business process change or a key business process addition. I talked earlier about maybe you added an additional warehouse or were engaging efforts from a third-party logistics company. Things like that, key triggers. And then a system migration. You're moving from QuickBooks to Business Central. We're going to do a discovery there, so the business process review is actually part of your implementation. But if there's a major upgrade, I've seen companies who have been 4 or 5 versions back, moving to Business Central, and that's a great time because in that time there have definitely been business process changes. And then ultimately, the least expensive way is to do this continuous improvement. You can minimize these business process reviews by engaging your partner as a true partner in your business. Use Julie and other customer success managers to their full potential. Keep them in the loop of upcoming events that you anticipate and elicit advice and help from them. So what is the result of a business process review? The key outcome is to put you in a position where, working with us, you can create an overall actionable plan for your business and business systems. We're going to take what we find and provide you with options that'll allow you to take full advantage of your system to maximize it to work for your business. These suggestions can include process changes. They may be expanded use of native capabilities within Business Central. Something as simple as we're mailing out customer statements every month. There's an ability to schedule those so that they go out automatically by email within BC. Now that's a limited example, but there could be any number of those types of things. Sometimes it's not a requirement isn't going to be covered by native system functionality. In those cases, we'll look to third-party add-ons, something like shipping. Where we find that you're currently going in, manually shipping a sales order, doing a swivel chair to a UPS window to enter in the weight and actually process that shipment. Well, there are third-party add-ons that can integrate directly to UPS and FedEx and the Postal Service and even LTL companies to do your shipping. In some cases, we're going to recommend a customization. It's just not available as a third party. It's not available as a native add-on or a native capability, excuse me. But we can do a customization that's going to add functionality to your system. The key thing that we want to do here is provide you with options. That customization may meet your requirement 100%, but maybe a combination of a process change and a third-party add-on gets you 80% of the way, isn't as costly, and you're not having to modify your system. What we want to get to at the end of this is a plan that allows you to talk through your options with us and identify the best methodology for you going forward. And Julie, I'm going to hand back to you. We've left a lot of time for questions on this because typically this is a topic that generates a fair amount of questions, but I'll hand back to you for the recap.
All right, perfect. So before we open up for Q&A, I just wanted to touch on a couple of items. So our objective today was to provide you with an overview of how a Business Central business process review, or as Dan noted, an agnostic capability for our team to be able to look at all of your business processes and potentially looking at working with other solutions to move you to Business Central or on the other side of the house with Acumatica. But essentially, those business process reviews can drive efficiencies within your business, whether you have recently implemented Business Central or maybe 3 years ago you implemented Business Central. The Crestwood team of Dynamics consultants can guide your team through the process, as Dan covered, to identify opportunities for improvement, and also provide the much needed solutions to your team to implement those recommendations. And the deliverable action plan will be something that your team can reference for years to come as you look at improving efficiencies across your business. All right. In terms of questions, Kayla, Chloe, did we have any questions come through? Okay. Dan, how long will the BPR process or the business process review take, and how will it affect daily operations during that time?
Sure. It really depends on the size of the business. And there's a couple of different ways that a business process review can happen. It can be a full business process review, right through your entire process from, I'm going to say from purchase to shipment, but also there's the financial side in there. Or it can be very targeted, where we really want to look at just our shipping process. So that there's going to be some variation there. If we're talking about looking at the whole business, it's usually anywhere between 2 and 4 days of discovery, and we'll want to get in front of the key subject matter experts for each department. And then we would typically take about 2 weeks, not 2 full weeks, but a 2 week gap while we're solutioning that out. And then we'll come back and present our findings from it. And again, we'll go through each of the potential solutions and talk through, especially because there's going to be multiple solutions, for a shipping process, and I keep using shipping just because it's what's in my head right now. There may be a small process change with an add-on, and we'd want to talk through that and weigh the pros and cons of that, or as compared to a full-on customization around that. So I would say all totaled, probably about 3 weeks from start to presentation.
And you had noted the interviewing of the key contacts within the company. Is there
Yes.
just any recommendations on those stakeholders that you'd have part of that?
Well, we'd want somebody from the accounting department. Usually there's 2 or 3 people from accounting. So you've got your finance, your AP, your AR, and your controller. And then we definitely want sales ops involved, your purchasing department. And again, this doesn't have to be the whole department by any means. In fact, we find in those cases, we really want to limit it to key stakeholders. We do want to get into detail, so it wouldn't necessarily be somebody who's shipping product, but we would at least want like the shipping manager involved in those conversations. They're typically going to know where key struggles are. Does that answer your question, Julie? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think that covers
Okay.
it.
All right.
All right. Do we have any additional questions? I know that there was a couple that came in ahead of time, so I can go to those if there's nothing else in the chat. Okay. So, so thinking about the individual customer, how customizable is the BPR process to my organization's needs?
It's entirely customized to your needs. This is not we're going to come in and show you how to enter a sales order. It's really going to be, we want to get at how you're running your business. How are you using the system today? Because otherwise, there's value to training, but not as part of this. We want to find out where your struggles are and how we can improve your business life through your system.
Great. Okay. And then once the BPR is completed or the business process review is completed, what are the next steps?
Sure. So once we've come back to you and we've talked through all the potential solutions, and those solutions will come with high-level costs, and if there's a customization, it'll come with mainly a sketched out design. We don't want to bill you for a full design on something until we know that's the road you want to go. But it'll get to you at a rough estimate kind of number. And we'll talk through each of those and create a plan. We'll look at, okay, where is the best part of this plan to leverage first? And again, we'll give a sketch of that in the document, but really you have to see the value to where you want to start first, and we'll create a plan for, okay, we're gonna work on this aspect first and move down from there to get through that list. And you, based on cost, based on time, you may eliminate some of those, but it's going to be a collaborative process to make sure that you have the right plan for your business.
And then, with your experience, what are you, I know you've mentioned shipping, as you had mentioned shipping was on your mind, but
Yes.
in terms of if it was a phase two from a Business Central implementation, what do you see as the common need for clients that are looking at implementing an additional component within phase two? Is it reporting? Is there something specific that the BPR lends itself to?
um if we see phase two items, they're typically add-ons, potentially additional reporting, Power BI, that type of thing. Every once in a while, we do see companies that say, you know what, we just need to get onto a more advanced system than, say, QuickBooks. And in the past, they've been finding a way around an assembly or a manufacturing process. So they want to just go live with financials and then move forward from there. So we could add inventory as a phase two, or manufacturing, or any of those things. uh, Business Central is structured in a way that you can do that. Um, I tend to feel that it's better to determine what your ideal system is and go live with that. But we can do it module by module. Obviously, we have to have the financials in first. That's the backbone of the system. But we can move forward from there, and then it's really enhancements. I'm going to go back to shipping just because there's a great add-on for shipping that does integrate to all of the carriers, and it's an easy overlay that adds a lot of efficiency. So those are the types of things that ultimately we're looking for in this process.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
I think we covered all the questions that came in as well as those that were sent to us ahead of time. Is there anything else that I'm not covering, Dan, that's top of mind that you think for a business process review?
Not really. I will say that I do feel that these are an area where we always see improvement, and
Mhm.
typically it's pretty robust improvement. It is an investment, but it's an investment in your company. I talked earlier about how sometimes it's confirming that people are on the right path. That is a very rare scenario. These are 99% of the time going to add value to you. And quite frankly, if we see that we're not going to add value, we'll know that in the sales cycle typically. So it's definitely something that I would suggest that businesses look into if you're feeling any struggling pain points.
Great, great. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your willingness to join us and learn a little bit more about the Crestwood Business Process Review. Should you have any questions, please reach out to your customer success manager, or if you're working with our account team, your account executive. If you're new to Crestwood and just kind of wading in to learn more about Crestwood and our business process reviews, please contact sales@crestwood.com. Thank you. Have a great day.